What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down KJ HAMLER and his route running ability. I'm actually pretty excited to do this breakdown just because I haven't seen a whole lot of film on him, but I think there's a lot of clips here that can give you some good value and help you out with your route running, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to be looking at here is a square cut, okay? So this square cut, I think the key about this is really making sure I drop my hips to get this DB to react and then giving a violent head and shoulder fake on this. So let's watch it again, then we'll break it down. So he comes out, drop, head and shoulder fake, gets this DB to slip, okay? So now we're going to break this thing down in slow motion because that thing came up quick, okay? So he's coming off the line of scrimmage here, and I want you to see eyes are to the inside, right, committing his shoulders. That's already going to get a reaction out of this DB, right, because your eyes are going to tell lies, right? So now the next thing that he's got to do is be able to drop his hips and sell like he's just maybe trying to run an out route, right? Make everything look the same. Like maybe let's say one time in the beginning of this game, I come off the line of scrimmage, I have my eyes to the inside, I commit my shoulders, DB's turn his hips, then I break it off and run an out, right? Everything's a setup. We could set up every single route with another route. That's what you guys got to have. On Monday and Tuesday when you're preparing for a team, on Friday, Saturday, whatever it might be, you got to put together a plan. Okay, this is how I'm going to structure my routes. This is the releases I'm going to work. I've studied film on these DBs. I know what I need to do, right? So comes up here, snaps down, right? He drops his hips, and you see where his eyes go. So he snaps down here. He's in this explosive pad level position. This is the first part of a square cut. So a square cut, it's almost like 4 steps. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like 4 steps here, and it's important that when I drop my hips on that first step, like I'm just snapping down like I'm running a normal comeback, and I'm going to curl, dig, whatever it may be, and I'm dropping my hips. Now you see where his eyes go immediately, and his body starts to lean, right? So he goes here. So snap, 2, 3, 4. And you see that head fake is quick, but that body fake is real violent and everything's fast right here. Anytime we make a square cut, it's snap down, 2, 3, 4, head fake to the opposite direction that we want to be able to go. And you see his leg right here, how his shin angle, this is a mistake a lot of people make on a square cut, is they'll open up this toe and they'll reach with that cut leg, right? I want to be as explosive and as sudden as I can with that cut leg so it could shoot me here. Because again, here's the thing with timing, right? This break takes a little while, right? It's 4 steps rather than maybe getting out of it in 2. Right? So I got to make sure that I'm really exploding off of this thing. I'm pumping my arms and I'm driving. But you see how that head fake is what's able to get that DB sitting inside, and then you get his feet to stop, and then that's a slip. But still, I mean, honestly, I don't even need to break this guy's ankles every time, right? I just got to get him to hesitate. And especially when I'm running over the middle and I got maybe 40 yards, 30 yards to work with here. If I could just get his feet to stop and I could get him to hesitate, I'm going to get separation. Great job here working this square cut. Let's watch it again one more time. 4 steps. Snap down, 2, 3, 4. Violent head and shoulder fake, eyes to the outside, making sure I'm closing this gap with the DB. Let's watch it again here. So snap down, 2, 3, 4. Get him leaning outside. Great route here. So now we're going to be looking at a post route here. So let's watch it full speed. So coming off, sudden stick, get that DB to turn his hips, and I'm accelerating out over the middle, right? So when it's off man look like this, right? He's doing a pretty good job coming off the line of scrimmage here fast, right? You look at his pad level, everything about this thing is fast. Now, there's one thing I would change about this route, but overall, I like everything about it. Just one thing that I would change that could make this thing a little bit smoother that you guys could learn from. So you see when he's closing the gap with this DB, right? Coming onto the screen here, he's kind of sitting flat, right? But here's the thing. Feet aren't moving, right? So if he's sitting flat, that's no problem, right? If I get him in a back pedal, fine. He's continuing to keep that space for me. I break this thing off. Hopefully the ball's out on time, right? So a DB doesn't get a chance to drive on it. Let's say I come off and I have my eyes to the outside and this DB turns his hip and runs. Perfect. I can just cut this thing back underneath him, accelerate out, and I'm good. He sits flat like this. I got to make sure, and he knows that he's going to do this pre-snap. It's not like he's thinking all this on the fly. I got to give him a move to the outside. I got to be violent. I got to give a heavy indicator post to get him to turn his hips, right? So we're going to look at this thing here. So when he makes this post break to the outside, I want you to look. Violent head and shoulders. When we're in off man as a DB, I'm looking at those hips, right? So if as a receiver, I could reverse that and think, okay, if I can turn my hips and I could be violent with my upper half, more than likely to get him again. I don't need to break his ankles. He doesn't need to fall down from this. I just need him to hesitate, right? And if I could get him to hesitate and or stop his feet, which he kind of already had his feet stopped, probably not the best play by this DB, but we're mainly focused on the route. When we're upper half is violent and I'm turning my upper half, that's more than likely to get him to turn his hips. Because what he's thinking right now is you're coming off the line and you're just making this quick power jab. You're turning your head and shoulders and you're trying to run this fade, trying to get him sitting inside and trying to run a fade outside, right? So that's why your body is going to help you. Now, here's the thing that I don't like is I want to look at this right foot. You see this drag. That drag, personally, I would like to pick my feet up and run because all a drag serves to do, right? And again, this guy's playing a high level of football. You got to remember that it's not easy to play at this level, right? So it's easy for us to sit back and critique him, but it's just one little thing, and I'm sure he would say it too, and his receiver coach would say it too, that I don't want to be dragging my foot here because it just slows you down. It's almost like a little bit of leakage out of the route, right? If I could stand up and run and not use this to slow me down and really let that stick and let that push off my inside arch and me opening up my hips with this right leg rather than dragging my foot and pumping my arms and running, I'll be out of this break much faster than I already am. But you see, this is the position we want. My violent head fake, violent shoulder fake gets this DB to turn his hips, and now he has no clue where I'm at. Imagine if I was here and I was just going to be running a curl route. Right? If I was just maybe going to run a post curl and just sit down. He's completely gone. Let's say I was going to run this thing up, make a post break, then flatten it off on a dig. He's completely gone, right? And let's say I'm just running a straight up post. I got a lot of separation here. Ooh, be careful, fellas. I don't want to look my eyes away too soon, right? This is a great route here. Let's watch it again one more time. DB's technique could have been better, yes, but we got to take advantage of that as a receiver, right? I'm sick of that excuse, oh, the DB's this, the DB's that. I don't care. It's a great route. We got to take advantage of that. When we get a bad DB, we're not going to treat it any different than when we would a good DB. Let's watch it again one more time. So violent head fake, just try to pick up those feet, try to avoid that drag. All right, so this is going to be a great, this is just great information for you guys because this is something that you could do on every single outbreaking route when you get a man coverage situation like this, okay? So we're going to be talking about the peek back technique and a little bit off his release off the line. This is an exact route that I practice with my guys when we hit the field, and they know this peek back method, but also this kind of lull him to sleep, hesitation release, and take the outside release, and we don't even necessarily need to, again, break his ankles, right? This is just a way to get off the line fast, keep the timing, not waste any time at the top of the route. So let's watch it here. So a little hesitation, burst up, peeking back for the ball, in and out of this thing on this out route. It's a great route here by Hamler, and you see the separation he's able to get. So when we're in this situation, right? Now, his split's cut down a little bit, so it wouldn't be this, but let's say this guy's more so inside leverage. I would like to angle my stem here and attack the midline, right? But since he's more so head up, I could attack this midline straight off the line of scrimmage. I just give him this hesitation release. Now, what does that serve to do, right? It serves to change up the tempo. You see how his feet stop, right? He's expecting something. Maybe we're used to a couple times, let's say before in this game, before we have this play called, I just take off and run, right? And I'm fast. Now I come off the line. He thinks he's got my timing. He thinks he got my speed. Now I give him this hesitation move and just get up in this route. So hesitate, get up into this route fast, right? I change the tempo so I can get a jump on this guy, right? And now we got his feet to stop. We're able to take this outside release. His goal right here when he's pressed to get hands or even bump and run is just to screw up the timing, right? To force you to run into him to screw up the timing. But I change up the tempo, then go, and he has no hands. I can still keep the timing on this route. So now, he's going to be coming off his fourth inside to run this out route. Now, you see how he's peeking back for this ball here, right? Peeking back for it. Now, what's that doing? That's selling like he is running a seam. Now, I could do this, honestly, fellas, especially if you're an outside guy, more so an inside guy right now, but especially if you're an outside guy. You're running a comeback against man. I peek back. I get him to think fade, and I snap it down right underneath him, right? I'm running an out route like right now. I peek back. I break it off on this out. I'm running a corner route. I peek back. I run this corner, right? But my feet got to be sudden at the top. Now, when I peek back, the key about this is I still got to keep my speed, right? I can't peek back and then lean back with my chest, slow my feet down because that's just more time for this DB to react, right? I got to be able to come off. I keep a good pad level, then pop. And I'm in and out of this break fast. He's sitting seam. I'm very sudden with my feet. I'm very sudden out of this break, and I'm pumping my arms and continuing to run, continuing to get space. He could have pumped his arms a little bit more. You see how his arms kind of flail out here? That's what helps him. That he loses a little bit of balance. But when we stick, I got to make sure I push. I open up and my arms are pumping. My arms never stop, and I run out of this break. That's how you'll keep balance at the top of the route. That's a great job here using this peek back technique with this hesitation release. I love that route. I love any time that I could be here, maybe run a corner, I run a comeback. I could peek back, and then I could snap it off, maybe run a square cut and let this guy fly by. You could do so many things with that peek back. That's something you could do on every single time you have an out-breaking route, comeback, and you're taking against man coverage and you have an outside release, right? Or hell, even an inside release, you could start peeking back for that ball. Any situation where this DB might be restacking you, right? And you have an out-breaking route. That's a great route here. Let's watch it again one more time. So again, hesitate, peek upfield, eyes to the backfield, snap this thing off. My feet got to be sudden. I got to make sure I keep a great pad level throughout the top of this route. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, guys, if you want me to take a look at your route running, if you want me to break down your film just like how I broke down this one, check out that link in the description that says film breakdown, guys. And please leave any questions you have in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you. I'll see you guys next time.